Hello, Weekend Warriors, and welcome to another edition of the Weekend Dojo. Tonight's going to be a short stream because El Chizo here needs to get to sleep soon. So we'll do
Yeah.
about until like 9:30, 9:40, somewhere around there. But we will still do this. So if you guys remember last week, we were talking about our dream arcade, and we had covered that the first floor would be retro first generation arcade machines like hunting, skee ball, stuff that doesn't require electricity to run it, basically, or that doesn't require digital high tech.
There aren't any relay boards or anything like that, essentially.
Right. So now we're going to the second floor of our dream arcade,
now,
which
if we're going the pattern, what we're going to see coming up first is mostly going to be early electronic games. We're talking like some of the old Rheostat games, the ones controlled with balls, where they just hadn't quite figured out how they wanted to go about making arcade games quite yet. They hadn't decided on a standard.
Mm-hmm.
And so, excuse me. I'm thinking right as we go up the stairs from the first floor, you guys might want to pause this stream and go back and check the other one if you don't know what we're talking about. I'm thinking right as you come off the stairs from the first floor, first machine you should see is a wood-paneled Pong console.
Yes, totally. Now we're going with that. Let's go a step further and make it that whole section where you see that Pong console is a whole section of first gen Atari classics.
Well, Pong is not actually owned by Atari.
Okay, who is it by?
Pong was just kind of, I don't know who owns it. Atari had a license to it. But Pong was just one of those games that defined what gaming was at the time.
Okay. So it didn't necessarily have anything affiliated with it as far as branding. It just was.
Atari would not have a console until a little bit later after the Pong arcade machine took off.
Okay. Now, was the original Pong machine multiplayer?
I do not believe it. Well, actually, yes, it would have had to have been, because they wouldn't have had a complicated enough computer system yet.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially what it would have been is just two knobs on a box.
Right, and then you just turn back and forth steering, and then whoever missed, the other person won.
Yeah, and it's kind of an interesting thing because it had sort of a smoothness that you don't see with analog controls today.
Okay.
I think it was just because it was two directions. It didn't have to think about it too much.
That sounds about right.
So right after we come off of Pong, we're gonna have Asteroids.
Oh, definitely.
And Asteroids is one of those vector graphics games where it actually did have a kind of a stick, but it wasn't a traditional controls in the way you'd think.
Right.
Not to mention it used vector graphics. Now, if you don't know what vector graphics are, rather than using pixels or points on a screen, it would draw a line between 2 points.
Okay.
Which meant that the movement was more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of well, this was actually in a console at one point called the Vectrex. Now, the Vectrex is unique in that it actually had a built-in screen and a controller that folded out from it. More often than not, the controllers are going to be more expensive than the console itself because of how often they break. But all the games kind of loaded in from the side, and they all had these color inlay things you would stick over the screen to, change how you'd play.
Right.
Or not how you would play, but how you would perceive the game, I should say.
Okay.
So I'm thinking a bunch of vector graphics games like Asteroids just to start.
Including the Star Wars one?
I think that one, well, yeah, might as well. It's a good enough place to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the Atari version did come out right around the time the Star Wars version, the Star Wars game did for the arcades.
Right.
Not exactly at the same time. It was a little bit later, but just as it hit the height of its popularity. And then I'm thinking Space Invaders.
I'm actually looking at images of the Star Wars vector graphics game. It looks cool. It looks very good for its time.
Well, that's the whole idea of the smoothness of vector graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the thing is, with vector graphics, you cannot create a very colorful, complex image.
Right. It's just outlines shaping your image, and you had to work with color lines to differentiate everything around you.
More or less.
It's still really good, though. It has a visual appeal to it, even though it's old.
Yes, it did. Oh, Pac-Man would have to go here.
Yes, your favorite.
Oh, yeah. And this is, I think that's about as complicated as it would get. We would probably have a Donkey Kong game.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be very sparse because the only other thing we would have here is like skee ball and pinball and some of the other stuff that was already in the floor prior to this one.
Okay.
The 70s video games were just about starting to get their grip, so you wouldn't have had a lot of them.
Okay.
However, on this level, I also think that we should have another jukebox loaded up with 70s hits.
Uh-huh.
So we're talking Clapton, we're talking The Who, which is also a 60s thing. We're talking just all of the mainstays of the 70s era music genre. No disco, because fuck disco.
Do you really hate disco?
I hate the disco that survived, the disco that people remember, because believe it or not, the majority of disco that didn't get radio play was just kind of a modified funk music, and that's all right. But a lot of the disco that survived just wasn't good.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate, but we'll move past that for now. I'm thinking like a little maybe a little 70s museum.
All right. I think that'll do.
And it's just like not so much a historic 70s museum, but something to exemplify what entertainment was at the time.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, this arcade you're building works as both a classic arcade and a pop
time
culture
capsule.
Yeah.
Sort of a time capsule, yeah.
Yeah. Now, would we like to go as far as to include actual consoles from that time that you can like rent out and play for a bit, like Game Boy, NES, and stuff like that?
I don't think so. I think we're just gonna stick with like what was in the arcades at the time.
Okay.
And general like hangout spots.
All right.
So like skee ball and pinball, like everything we had on the first floor. This one, like I said, would just be 70s games. Centipede and Millipede wouldn't really catch on until a little bit later, but I guess we could include them just towards the stairs. That way, there's sort of a natural progression going up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about all I can think of for the 70s floor. The 80s floor is when it's really going to open up.
Oh, yes.
Because that's where shit starts changing. Maybe some AC/DC posters on the wall in the 70s room with Bon Scott and everything.
Uh-huh.
And just because I'm a giant nerd, we'll hang a Gibson SG on the wall in a glass case.
Kick ass.
That's about it. You want to go into like an open discussion thing for about 15 minutes?
Yeah, and then next week we'll do 80s.
Yeah. So,
That's what I want to talk about real quick that just got confirmed. So do you follow Super Bowl as far as like what's going to be showing halftime and all that?
No.
Well, I've got a pleasant surprise for you, my friend.
Yeah.
They have confirmed that the voice actor for Squidward Tentacles from SpongeBob SquarePants will be announcing the halftime show.
Oh.
And Maroon 5, who has been set to play at halftime during their teaser for them playing at halftime, had a clip of SpongeBob in there. Guess what they are going to most likely be playing?
Oh. They're not going to be playing the one from the movie, are they?
No, they're going to be playing Sweet Victory from the Bubble Bowl episode.
Oh, that's perfect.
They have not openly said that song, but given there's a petition that's been made since Steven Hillenburg's death that's gotten over several million signed. Nickelodeon posted that as their tribute to him on their Facebook or on their YouTube account. The Super Bowl had announced that Squidward's voice actor will be announcing the halftime show, and Maroon 5 had a clip of SpongeBob playing in their teaser. Yes, the points connect.
It'll be funny if that's what ends up happening.
People are already calling it.
Well, let's get our chicken fingers ready.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to a Super Bowl party on Sunday anyways, so that's right. Yeah, so Saturday night will be our dojo thing next week, either Saturday night or Monday night.
Oh yeah, Sunday... I'm not even a huge football fan, but the Super Bowl is kind of a tradition.
Yes, same here.
It's where you eat garbage food and watch people hit each other on screen.
And have fun with friends and family.
Yeah, it's kind of like the BKB finals, except with less blood.
What's a BKB?
Bare knuckle boxing.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It literally means boxing without the gloves.
Oh boy, is this actual video you can watch on TV?
Oh yeah. Well, you have to have pay-per-view for it. I haven't seen it in a while, but there's a European league that has a YouTube channel. I will try to find it for you. Okay,
sweet. I'd like to check it out.
And it's not like regular boxing, but so anything else? Oh, I kind of got a fun project done today. I put a pickup in my favorite acoustic.
Ooh, nice.
And what's interesting about it is, unlike other acoustic pickups like piezo pickups and transducer pickups and microphone pickups, this one is electromagnetic, which means that I can plug my acoustic guitar into an electric guitar amplifier.
Okay.
And through some dry boost, it has this really snotty kind of voice that I love. And because it's an acoustic guitar, I've got more room to hit the strings. I can actually get a kind of a driven noise just by hitting the strings harder. So it creates a really dynamic feeling guitar.
Right.
And so if anyone out there has got a pure acoustic guitar that they wanted to upgrade to an acousto-electric, I would strongly recommend the Gretsch Deltalux.
Sweet. Well, if I ever have enough money and enough motivation to get a guitar like that, I'll put it on my list.
Well, it's not a guitar; it's a guitar pickup that you can put in an existing acoustic.
Yeah, yeah.
And believe it or not, it's only $80.
Okay.
Sometimes pickups can cost upwards of $100.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one pickup. It's got an N-pin jack that you don't necessarily have to remove the strap button to put in. You can use like the leather strap button hanger.
Right.
But I personally, I went to my dad's and we drilled out that the N-pin hole and reamed it out, and most of it was just me holding the guitar steady while he went about it. We didn't really have a flat working surface, so we actually did this free floating, which means no table, no fixtures, nothing. We just held the guitar, which is incredibly stupid.
Mm.
Okay, so if you ever want to, don't do this. Take it to a professional to get it done. But I was impatient. But we got it in there. It's fine. And like I said, you can run it through overdrive, through an electric guitar amp, through some dry boost, or you can run it clean and push it to a driven state by hitting the strings really hard.
Okay.
And the best way I can describe it is you hit it hard and it does a thing that makes you happy.
Sweet.
And fun fact, Gretsch is, if you ever did decide to do this, Kenny, Gretsch is actually produced by Fender, who owns Squier.
Okay.
And if you look at the headstock of your guitar, you'll notice that it is in fact a Squier guitar.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah, I see the logo on it.
So essentially, you would be putting a part in it from the same family of guitar makers. Just a little fun tidbit of information. Of course, if you don't feel like putting your guitar at risk for being chipped out or anything, you can get a Fishman pickup. Excuse me. Sneezed. Which means that all you have to do is take the strap button out, and you can put this new jack in without drilling anything out, and you can plug right into your amp.
Okay.
So it depends on really what how much work you want to do and what tone you're going for. Fishman makes a great pickup for conveying the sound that your guitar already makes.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything else to it. It doesn't fuck with it too much. It's just, this is your guitar, and this is what it sounds like when we amplify it. Whereas with the Deltalux, it does a little something to the voice of the guitar when it's plugged in.
Okay.
And that's just about all I've been doing.
Sounds good.
I believe you, before we sign off, I believe you started something with an art group. You want to tell the audience about that?
Oh yeah, I'm doing art commissions now. If you guys have any art commissions you have for me or want me to do for you, DM me on Instagram at forever_red_cosplays. On Twitter, I am Kenman_RiderW, and on Facebook, I'm Ace Red. So if you DM me there, and then we can go through all this stuff from there.
Yep. And speaking from personal experience, this guy's art is great, so go check him out.
Thank you.
All right, I guess it's about 9:30. You want to wrap it up?
It is. Yeah, well, with that said, thank you all for watching, and stay more phenomenal, everybody.
And we will see you later, Weekend Warriors.